Are you really as good as they all say you are?
Every once in a while.
Steven Frederick Seagal has a lot of different stories about his past. Well, here I only want to speak about Steven Seagal's movie career, which started and went much smoother than others due to some useful but shady contacts. Have you ever seen Steven getting hit in his movies at all? His enemies don't hit back. Total mental and physical superiority to his opponents and actually everybody else, including viewers, from the very beginning of his career. That's not that usual, isn't it? This way or another, but Steven has soared to the Hollywood Olympus like a rocket, and within 4 years and 5 movies has put his name in a list of top paid actors. He began starring from the first movie in 1988, and that was Above the Law. Exactly the way Lord Steven considers himself. For a role in this Action B movie, Seagal had to shock Warner Brothers studio heads by scattering 30 students of his dojo at the same time. Later, the Great One confessed, though, that they had been staging this performance for days. His fighting style differed a lot from other martial arts action movies, was original, and after a pretty big success of Above the Law in box office, there was a huge boom of Aikido in the United States. After that, actor spent quite a time and efforts choosing his next film. It should have been something more original, something that people hasn't seen before. Something like a movie where he gets killed in the very beginning, then gains strength in coma for 7 years, and wakes up full of energy and desire to punish those losers who had shot him. A plot for a movie hard to kill, where Seagal started with his wife Kelly LeBrock, while still being married with his first wife. Success was deafening. The next morning, Steven woke up full of energy and desire as a star. $10 million budget turned into $50 million in United States box office. Today it would be a movie with a $20 million budget with $100 million in return. Huge success, like real huge. And it was followed by 2 other successes, Marked for Death and Out for Justice. Violence in his movies and unnecessary cruelty went to another level. Marked for Death became the most cruel movie of 1990, until these days is the most cruel movie of Steven Seagal, which is something. Keep in mind, guys, that we saw a humane, herbivorous version. The most tasty parts with most of broken legs, arms, necks and souls. Filmmakers had to reluctantly cut out to get our rating. Each new Seagal's movie generated more gold for its studio than his previous one, and in this aspect his flight into the stratosphere is comparable to a skyrocketing of one Belgian leg dancer. Maybe, who knows? Maybe this easiness and speed of Steven's career launching eventually played a cruel joke to him. The beginning of the end approached to our friend, and it started with his most iconic, most famous big-budget movie, Under Siege. After it absorbed $160 million in cinemas worldwide, with a budget of $35 million, Steven Seagal's star disease began to kick in big time, which rarely leads to positive changes in life, especially when combined with difficult personality. After Under Siege made it to big screens, our great fan of broken limbs decided to become a great movie director too. Because why the hell not? A talented person is talented in everything, right? And that's exactly what 2 Hollywood studios decided as well and agreed to support his endeavor.
Big mistake.
20th Century Fox suggested Seagal to direct a movie called Man of Honor, with the Italian mafia which became a victim of a rampaging hero. Steven could have the full control. Director's chair, producer's chair, the main role of course. The only 2 things which studio heads wanted to have control on were script and budget, which they limited on $30 million. Another studio that had agreed to fund directing debut of the talented star was Warner Brothers, with similar conditions, but in addition Steven could pick whatever script he wanted, and also there was a little nuance that made their offer even more attractive. Seagal knew that Warner craved to see him in the sequel of Under Siege, and he used this knowledge to raise the budget bar. As soon as it exceeded $4 million, newly minted director agreed to make his first self-made movie under wing of brothers. He denied offer from Fox, agreed to play in Under Siege 2, and began to choose a script. Eventually the choice fell on Rainbow Warrior. Later he changed its name to On Deadly Ground. And I have to say, that's not the only thing that he decided to change in this movie. Steven constantly made corrections in the script on the go. Wise thing to do if you want to troll film crew and end up with a messy plot. Also, he got in fights with stuntmen, quarreled with his friends, and in general behaved himself in many different ways. Movie cost slowly but steadily rolled over 50 million barrier in order to fund increasing amount and sizes of different explosions, an impressive amount for mid-90s. And after first preview screenings, when audience had been laughing and booing for good 40 minutes closer to the end credits, studio insisted on cutting out a good portion of end product. The thing is that Seagal decided to spend the last 40 minutes after the main story ends on showing nature, chipmunks and deers running around, and other wonderful charms by which nature thanked him for saving it. A flop was gigantic. Devastating. With a production cost of $50 million, movie managed to gather only 39. You can understand that official movie making cost doesn't include marketing, and they often quite similar to production costs. So yeah, you can imagine how glad was heads of Warner Studio Brothers about this masterpiece. Steven successfully won Golden Raspberry as the worst director, and Warner's decided to remove On Deadly Ground from worst distribution to stop this embarrassment from spreading and their money from disappearing in empty cinemas. Seagal could have been saved by next two big budget features he had been already signed up for, but they had different plans. Under Siege 2, Dark Territory didn't meet expectations. If Aikido Master would have noticed all of those red flags popping up after On Deadly Ground like mushrooms after a good rain, then maybe Under Siege 2 could become a little or much better than it eventually turned out to be. But famous actor neglected his previous box office bomb. He considered it to be a little incident and didn't take the sequel of his greatest hit seriously. Dark Territory became the first movie where our action hero began to use belly slamming belt, if you know what I mean. He promised to studio heads to get in shape in no time, but we all know that never happened.
Nice.
And the only shape he got in was rounder and rounder each year. Steven was present during the editing process of Under Siege 2, just to make sure that everything goes as it should, and allegedly got in some fights with the editor and director to back up his argument when their perceptions differed from his. Actors' behavior also became quite disturbing. Jenny McCarthy-Wahlberg claimed that even though her role didn't contain naked scenes, during her audition was asked to get stripped because her nudity would be
off-camera nudity.
Steven's lawyers denied her story.
He followed me to my car and said, "Don't tell anyone."
But grabbing breast of a 16-year-old co-actor in front of cameras on a promotional event, this one is undeniable. And now we will begin to get down to Steven Seagal's fall. The final nail in his career was the scandal in Hollywood, during which our action hero has been accused in domestic violence. In its turn, it has launched a heavy rain of harassment accusations.
You had a rape allegation against you, and I wonder how you deal with all that.
After hearing such news, Kurt Russell, who was assigned for executive decision as well as Steven Seagal, denied to work with him. Maybe if not those two major box office fails in a row behind Steven, Warner Brothers would have turned their blind eye to those spicy allegations, and most certainly Kurt Russell's wishes and unwillingness. But with such a disaster behind his belt, Steven's hero has been carried away by the wind of changes into the sunset. All this snowball has derailed the actor's career pretty much, and he has never returned as a lead star to big budget movies. His following films went sinking one after another, and within 5 years after On Deadly Ground release, Steven Seagal completely vanished from big screens. He stopped properly take care of his physical shape, of his supposedly mental health. By the end of 90s he could barely fit into small screens and had never appeared on big screens ever since, except for one-time supporting role in Robert Rodriguez's Machete in 2010. And by the end of 2010, Steven became a joke in every possible way, starring in movies where he barely speaks, barely plays, and most of the time is replaced by stunts.
You still dangerous?
He is still true to himself, dominates everybody else in each scene, so no worries about this aspect. As for me, being a kid, I watched some of his movies, but can recall maybe Under Siege 1 and 2. I didn't consider Seagal as an action star comparable to his competitors, not even close to Van Damme or Schwarzenegger.
I think Jean-Claude's a tough guy in martial arts. No.
I was quite disturbed by the cruelty in his movies, all of those broken arms and legs, you know, not what I was looking for. I liked the way he fought though, definitely looked refreshing and interesting in some parts, but probably I preferred a little bit more good old punches and kicks to all of those locks and, again, broken limbs. Thanks for watching up to this point, I really appreciate your focus. I tried hard making this video and already looking forward to making a new one, so till the next time, cheers.